good morning, everybody, and welcome to this show. And we welcome everybody, our physical friends and our non-physical friends. And I hope you have a beautiful day, if it's a day for you, and I hope you had a beautiful morning or evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. We're having such a beautiful, beautiful weather here. I'm still playing with the computer a little bit. Let's see how this is working out. Okay, so yep, that's great. Okay, I think we're ready for another show. And as I said, welcome everybody. Welcome to this global audience. And I'm always looking forward to this show. And as you can see, the flowers today, they're a little bit pink. They're a little bit wild as well today. I don't know, they just do whatever they want to do by themselves. I arranged them this way and that way, and then they ended up however they want to be. So yes, we've been experiencing beautiful weather. It's winter here, coming up to winter solstice. And we've had this beautiful, still have these beautiful clouds in the sky, and that makes up for some beautiful sunsets and sunrises. And yesterday, as I was driving through the outback, oh my gosh, the whole sky just went red because these clouds are so beautifully reflecting and playing with the sun. And I just had to stop and just watch this beautiful, beautiful creation that was happening right in front of my eyes. Without me having to do anything, just enjoy, just breathe it in, breathing the sounds, breathing the voices, breathing the feelings, the scents, the smells, and the views. And the colors just kept on changing, and I saw these beautiful red and pink colors that I haven't seen before. And of course, I tried to capture them on my camera, but camera just cannot capture. There's so many things that cameras just cannot capture anymore. And it is just about being in the moment, and it is just about being with this beautiful, beautiful arrangements, with these beautiful gifts that we are keep being given every day, if we just sort of shift our focus from issues and problems of this world and just concentrate on gratitude, concentrate on enjoyment, concentrate on just seeing this beauty. Because whatever we focus on, whatever we concentrate on, whatever we are with, whatever we love, whatever our passion is, it is what keeps on creating itself. It keeps on manifesting itself in our life. So if we keep concentrating on issues and problems and things that we don't want in our lives, this is what will constantly be happening, because life serves us, life gifts us on a continual basis. Life, it doesn't have any preconceived ideas. So it is whatever you, the individual, want it to be. So whatever you focus on, it is what life will gladly, with joy, give you more and more and more. I was just wondering yesterday, because for me, the easiest creation, the easiest, most wondrous creation that I've never had to sort of question or deal with or wonder or try to do has to do with nature, with the beautiful, with the beauty in nature. And I sort of wondered how I looked at all of the different ways of how I sort of create that. And I realized how effortlessly and easy it is. I go out, I expect something beautiful to happen, and it just keeps surprising me. And it happens without me having to do anything. It happens without me having to think about it. It is just, I expect, I go, I participate, and then I stop and be with that beauty and love and enjoy and play. And it is very easy, and it is very effortless, and it is very seamless as to how it happens. And it is because I don't actually have any issues around it, because I don't have any blockages around it. It is why it is it creates itself so easily, so beautifully, so unexpectedly, and in such a regular, continuous basis, and in such a variety. And I must admit that it's not the same in all of the areas of my life. It is because when the mind steps in, when the mind wants to organize, when the mind wants to create, when the mind wants to control, that's where the issues come, because the mind, as we all know, it is operating from such a small place. It is operating in a small box. It is operating in from very small parameters. Okay, so that was the introduction. So let us take a few deep breaths, and just let all of the issues, all of the troubles just melt away. And take a few more deep breaths. And let us just be present in this moment, present in this beautiful company of courageous people, present with our non-physical friends, of whom there are many present with us here today. And again, we welcome you. And again, we honor you. And we are Mikhail. And we are Michaela. And we come here with joy in our hearts. And we come here to play with you. And we look forward to every time we look forward to this day. Every time we look forward in joy, in presence, to be with you in this way, to speak with you in this way, and to play with you in this way. And even though at times we do look so serious when we are in this mode of talking to you in this way, we are not serious at all, and we are very playful, and we play and we express, and sometimes we are goofy, and sometimes we dance, and sometimes we make so-called mistakes, and sometimes we just have to laugh at ourselves. And we are very, 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 very similar to what you think of yourself, to what you think of your own essence. We are not that much different from you, because we are you and you are us. So we would like to talk about all of the different barriers that exist, barriers that are put up from us being to be able to dance with you, from to be able to be intimate with you in every moment of the day, in every moment of your day. And for all of the people present today, we, Mikhail, may not be your eternal self, not for everyone here today, but you have your own magnificent eternal self. And we have their permission to speak on their behalf as well when we teach in this way, when we speak to you in this way, when we play with you in this way, because we all are magnificent. There are no hierarchies on our side. There are no betters or worse. There are preferences. There are uniquenesses. There is enormous diversity, and there is a celebration in that diversity. You may be more familiar with some angelic names, you may be less familiar with others, but that matters not. There is no importance in this. We are magnificent. You are magnificent. And let's celebrate this on this day. And let's celebrate all of your myriads of different parts. And let's celebrate and welcome all of those parts that give you troubles, that frustrate you, that you find that give you difficulties, that you think that give you limitations, that give you pain. So we will talk a little bit today about, of course, the masculine and the feminine, and all four. We will divide them into four, just for the ease of this show, just for the ease of explanation, just for the ease of experience. And today we would like to have an experience with you so that you can be more able to discern which part you are identifying with at any moment. Because remember, the part that you are identifying at any moment with is the part that you create out of. So we, in general terms, have four different masculine and feminine parts. So you would have a wounded human feminine and you would have a wounded human male, and sorry, masculine. And then you also have a whole, healed, divine masculine, and you have a whole, healed, and divine feminine. And the one that is at the moment, for most of you, most present and the loudest, and that is creating the limitations in your life, of course, it is the masculine, the wounded human masculine, that is very, very connected with the wounded human heart. And how it operates, it does speak very loudly. It does operate from limitations. This part is working on all of the different memories of how you've been abused, of how things have not worked out, of how things have not been to your liking, of all of the lack. It's operating on lack. It's operating on memories of all the things that have happened in your life that you have not liked, that have been painful, that have wounded your heart, that have, what you feel, attacked your heart. It is operating from a defensive position. It feels itself often under attack. It feels itself under pressure. It feels itself under pressure to have to provide for you. It feels itself under pressure to have to go out and look for a job, to create money, to create abundance. It is, at times it feels overwhelmed, and yet it is what it enjoys. It enjoys being in that space of drama. It enjoys, we shall not say enjoy so much as what it is, the only thing that it knows. It is operating from fear. It is operating from limitation. So whenever you are in a constricted place, whenever you are feeling that you have to think your way out, whenever you are feeling that like everything is falling apart, whenever you are feeling that there are just so many unsolved and unsolvable problems in life, you are operating from a wounded masculine. So let's feel into this part. Let's feel into its stress. Let's feel into its duress, because it is feeling stress at the moment, and especially it is feeling stress, and it is becoming louder and louder and louder because it can feel the presence of your divine self. It can feel the presence of your eternal self, and it can feel that its days of being the way it was are numbered. And it is panicking because it doesn't know any different. It doesn't know the relaxation. It doesn't know what being in the moment feels like. It doesn't know how to deal with being in a different way. It doesn't know how to deal with flow. It doesn't know how to deal with trust. It doesn't know how to deal with allowing. So it creates drama in your life. It creates stress just to try and in a way escape this presence, just to try and in a way escape having to allow, just to try and in a way escape trust, because it knows that it doesn't know how to trust, because it bases all of its experience and all of its feelings and emotions, it bases them on the experiences of your life as it was, as it has been. And because its memory is not entirely accurate, because its memory, the mind serves this masculine, human masculine, in a way that it will gladly bring out all of the ways that you've been dishonored, all of the ways that you've been hurt, all of the ways where things have not worked out, all of the limitations, all of the possibilities that are just not there. It makes those things seem much, much bigger than they really are. So when you are in this space, you can feel the constriction in your solar plexus, and you can feel the constriction in your heart. And you can feel your mind going round and round and round and round with no solutions. It just regurgitating same things, same issues, same dilemmas. So this is what it feels like to be working, to be operating, to be identifying with your wounded masculine. So now let's step outside of this wounded masculine and let's step into the wounded feminine. And the wounded feminine that all of you, every person, whether you are a male or a female, have. Now she operates from this guilt. She operates from having to mother. She operates from being the mother, putting herself last, of putting everybody else, trying to resolve everybody else's issues, trying to resolve everybody else's problems, trying to pacify the wounded male. So in this way, they dance together. She also feels, she can feel sad. She can feel like she wants to cry. She can feel like she wants to constantly mother everything with no end in sight, with no solutions as well. So this is the human feminine. And let's feel her. Let's feel her, and let's feel her how she manifests. Let's feel her how she works, how she is in your body, where she resides. So that you become very, very clear in knowing where you are operating from, because this is imperative now, because your creative abilities are such, and the times in the way they have changed are such, that the manifestations are very immediate, the manifestations are very quick, the manifestations are very clear, and they are clear based on where you are operating from and who and which part you are identifying with. So we would ask you that you practice in knowing, in being able to discern which part you are operating from, because this is the reality that you will create. This is the reality that you create on a constant basis. So now that so we would ask you to become very, very familiar with these parts. And as we said, from your human perspective, you don't actually have to do anything about these two parts. You don't have to do anything about the human masculine or the human feminine. All you have to do is to recognize and to choose to allow your divine masculine and your divine feminine to be present, to allow your soul to come in, and your soul will deal, your eternal self, your divine presence knows what to do with this part. It will deal, she or he and he will deal with these parts and will dance with these parts. And the more you allow, the more familiar all of these parts will become with each other. And the more familiar they become with each other, the easier it gets to allow. So let us now invite and welcome the divine masculine. And let's take a few deep breaths and see how he feels. And he comes, and immediately you can feel the body relaxing, and immediately you can feel a different quality that exists in your body and around you, because the divine masculine is so much bigger than your body, and all of the cells, all of a sudden there's space inside you where there was none. And if you breathe into your solar plexus where there was constriction before, all of a sudden there is space to expand. All of a sudden, as you continue to breathe, there are potentials that come. There is ease, there is grace, there is space. There are no memories of any pain. And you will see that the heart is also responding. The heart immediately responds to this. And where there was hardness before, all of a sudden there's softness, there is space. And there are structures, and there are such wonderful feelings of being accepted, feelings of being looked after, feelings of safety, feelings of trust, feelings of honor. And this is your divine masculine. And we invite you to invite your divine masculine to feel him, to let him be with you, to let him permeate every cell of your body, to allow him to speak with your human masculine, to allow him to converse, to allow him to love, and even father your human masculine. And you will find your human masculine first. It might be a bit awkward. The relationship can be a bit awkward, and that is why we started this show with saying that we are goofy, we have humor, we laugh at ourselves, we look in the mirror through your eyes and we giggle at ourselves, because this is what is needed when these parts are coming together after such a long time of being apart. And you will find that your human masculine will start to imbue and open up and dance with the divine masculine, the heal, the whole masculine. And you allow yourself, we invite you to allow yourself to be in this space, to experience this, to play with this in all the different parts of your life, because you will find that the divine human, the divine masculine self will bring solutions, will bring potentials to every single area in your life. And if you keep that well open, and if you keep that opening to your divine masculine, you will always feel fed. You will not feel hungry. You will not have to create drama to feed your parts, because all of your parts, all of your human parts, can come and sit at this well and wash themselves and allow themselves to be permeated by this divine masculine, by this wholeness, by this part that doesn't know any pain, by this part that is open, by this part that is also fiery, by this part that is so in love with you. And let us just breathe in this part, and let us just experience and bask in this part. And let us feel its wondrous structures that it can build, that it can create. And these structures are not permanent structures, because this part knows that it's just playing, that it's experiencing, that it's building different parts. And yet it was always aware that he is the builder. He is always aware that as he can put up the walls and structures to create a particular experience, so he can also take them down. So there aren't any walls that keep him in. There aren't any places where he would feel stuck, because he is always connected. He is always connected with that well of well-being, with that well of wondrous hug, love, self-love, all of these beautiful feelings. And allow yourself to experience this part in all his glory, and allow yourself to experience all the different nuances, and allow yourself to hear his voice. And he does not speak in a human voice. He speaks with feelings. And as you become proficient with speaking and allowing this part to speak with you, to be you, you will notice that the communication without words is just, it is multidimensional. It happens on so many levels. It speaks to every part of you if you allow. It speaks to every cell of your body if you allow. It conveys incredible amount of information. And it is like a feeling. It is like breath of fresh air. That's how it initially feels. It is how nature communicates. It's how animals communicate. There are no words necessary. You can dance in joy and you can sing. And yet when the divine masculine speaks with you, with your parts, there are no words necessary. Become very proficient in this language. Become very proficient with speaking, communicating to me, Mikhail, in this way, because this is how I speak. This is how I express the joy in all of the different nuances. And this is how your own eternal self, if it is not me, speaks to you in this expansive, beautiful way. Experiment, feel this touch. It can be subtle, it can be fiery, it can be like the wind. Feel its presence, feel its embrace. Allow yourself to be like a child. If it helps, feel yourself like a child and imagine yourself with this, the most wondrous father of your dreams that you can imagine. And then allow yourself to be embraced, to be fathered, to be fed with love, with honor, with welcome. Because, dear one, you are most welcome. Dear one, you are most loved. Dear one, you are this part of yourself. You are this divine masculine. This is who you are. And feel it and allow him to touch you and allow him to hold you. And from this space, feel and imagine how you can create your abundance, how you can create a continual flow of all of the things that you desire and all of the things that you choose. And at the same time, you will find that there are so many parts of yourself that are not used to this. And have patience with those parts and allow them to get used to me, to get used to the divine masculine, to get used to being loved, because there are so many parts you will find that, of course, they don't know how to be held. They don't know how to be honored, and they will need to learn. So, as a human, what you do is just allow this dance to occur. Sometimes you can step back and you can watch. You don't have to do anything with the wounded parts. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to heal your wounded human heart. You don't have to heal your relationships. You don't have to heal anything. All you do is allow these divine parts, and they will do the work for you. And now we can close our eyes and we will go and allow the divine feminine to come in and feel her and allow her fierce beauty and allow her fierce wildness, wildness, and allow her fierce untamedness to be you, to be with you. She at times may feel a bit alien even. And we don't mean someone from other planet. We just mean someone unknown, unknowable. Because this is the well, dear ones, the feminine, the divine feminine that each of you have. This is the well that is unknown and unknowable, because it goes on forever and it continually brings out surprises. It continually expands. It continually brings new things, new ideas, new feelings, new ways of being. And let's feel her. And there may be parts of you, the domesticated parts, that may at first be a little bit unsure about this divine feminine, because she's not tamed. She does not know any ropes. She does not know any limitations. She's wild, she's free. Imagine yourself, imagine this part of you, again permeating every part of your body, permeating every cell. And notice where you can feel the resistance in your body. Notice where there are parts that are afraid of this part. And yet this also is you. This wild, this beautiful, this uncompromising part of you, your divine feminine. For she will make sure that you don't compromise yourself. She will make sure that you don't put something else in front of yourself, in front of her, if you allow, because she will not force herself on you. The divine parts, they will not force themselves on you. You need to allow them. And just imagine the kind of choices you can make when you are in this space, when you are in this now moment, being this wild, this free, untamed, unlimited, unknowable, mysterious. Breathe her in. Feel how that feels, how it feels to make choices from this space, how it feels to create potentials, to create your own reality from this space, where you don't bow to no one, when you are free, when you are wild. And now allow your divine masculine to come and dance, and allow them to hold their hands, because they are partners, they're inseparable partners, these whole parts of yourself that are you also. And they are always available. And the feminine, the divine feminine, she brings her wildness, she brings her amazing potentials, newness, new potentials. And the divine masculine then helps to create structure and helps and allows and creates them to become real in your life. And this is how you can create your most amazing reality beyond your dreams. And you need to remember, and you need to keep reminding yourself to allow these parts. And this is your challenge, because as you know, as all of us know, it is so easy to fall into the trap. It is so easy to fall into the trap of limitations. It is so easy to constrict. It is so easy to operate from fear. So we remind you to keep stepping into this space, meaning to stop and breathe in these parts of yourself. And you will find your wounded human parts. They will create and are creating this amazing relationship with the divine whole parts. And before you know it, the human parts will start healing. You will have times in your day, in every day, where everything is just right, in all of the creation, where you feel wonderful, where you feel whole, where you feel now, in the now moment, with no worry of the future, with no thought of the past, because you are no longer that past. And this is how you create, my dear ones, this is how you create the new reality, the new world. It is by allowing these whole parts, by identifying with these parts, because these, my dear, the divine whole parts are also you. So it is always your choice. And we know that it is not always easy to remember these parts. It is not always, even sometimes it's not even possible to feel those parts, because depending on what's happening in your world, depending on the energetic weather, depending on the energy, at times you feel like you're not. And at times you feel like you cannot access these parts. And yet, once you are open, once they touch you, like we have been touched right now, they're always here, because this is the dance, dear ones. It is like the waves on the beach. They come and they go, and they come and they go. And sometimes they're bigger and sometimes they're smaller. And it is completely natural. So do not worry even. Do not even spend any time thinking, am I connected? Am I not connected? Because once you start feeling this path, once you start playing with your divine paths, you cannot become disconnected anymore. You can try, and sometimes you can try for days, but it's becoming, as you know, increasingly more and more difficult. And we ask you, my dear ones, why would you do this? Because as we know, being in the now moment with your whole parts, it is enjoyable, it is pleasurable, it is peace, it is dynamic, the most dynamic peace. And it can be a contradiction, because a lot of these things to the human mind can seem like a contradiction. And yet you will see there is no contradiction, there is only joy. And the difficulty becomes, as we know, the difficulty is when all sorts of different parts arise. Those parts that are unloved, that don't know love, that don't know how to dance with the divine self. You will notice that even all sorts of parts that are your past lives, that may be connected to your own divine self, that perhaps really have nothing to do with you, they become curious. They become closer because they also want to be part of this beautiful dance. They also want to know love. They also want to be accepted. They also want to be free. They want to be freed from all of their limitations. So allow them, because you are like a playground. You are like a ground where all of these different parts come and they touch the divine part. They touch the eternal self. And as a human, all you have to do is allow this dance to happen. You can step back. You don't have to do anything, because your divine eternal self will organize these parts, will handle these parts, will allow these parts to dance, will touch these parts, will heal these parts. And you will become very proficient, and you can be very proficient at reading and understanding all the different languages and all the different nuances and the way that these parts speak, and you will know your internal landscape very well. You will get to know all of the different rooms. You will get to know all of the different countries of yourself that exist within you. Because, my dear ones, you are vast. You are a vast being. You have no idea how vast. And as these walls of limitations, of human woundedness and untrustedness and fall down and they melt, you will not even know yourself as you know yourself as a human. Because once, traditionally, a human being, what was meant by that was a being that is riddled with fear, that operates, that makes choices out of fear, that makes choices out of feeling non-safe, that makes choices based on lack of resources, of lack of everything. So when these divine parts melt all these walls, you won't even recognize yourself as a human being, not in the old way, because there won't be any endings for you. And this is how you also, mind, human, become eternal. Because there are no endings where we are. There are no endings in spaces where we exist. Because remember, dear one, we have always been, and we always will be, eternal, present, expansive, expanding, playful, adventurous, experimental, and what we are always looking to expand. And we are always gently encouraging you, the human, gently nudging you to play with us, to expand with us in this way, to melt those balls, to let all the worries melt. And we know that it can be challenging and difficult at times when you get caught in your worry, when you get caught in your mental loops. And we know that the times have been so intense, and that is why today we wanted to dance with you in this gentle and beautiful way. And we wanted to give you an experience, and we wanted to touch you in a whole way, and we wanted to love you as we always do. And we wanted to remind you that we are always with you, always present, always but a breath away, right here in this moment. We are waiting for you. You as an eternal self, who you also are, for this beautiful, magnificent human that you are. And you can feel our honor, and you can feel our love for you. And you can feel our embrace, and you can feel our wildness. And you can feel us loving you in every moment. And when you forget, and when you get caught, and when you identify with all the different parts as you do, remember that you don't have to solve anything, even if you get lost for a few days. Just when you remember, just take a few deep breaths. Invite us in, and you will be in a different space altogether. It does not take very long anymore. It does not take any complicated meditations. It just takes few breaths and a choice, of course, an allowance. Excuse us, we will have a bit of a coffee. And we would like to remind you that there is a Q&A panel below. If you have any questions, for those of you who have any questions, please feel free to type them in. And we just wanted to say how we enjoy being with you, because sometimes that's all you need to be reminded of. There are so many lessons, so much material that you already have. All of this is simplicity. It is not easy in the world that you live in. And it's not going to be easy. And it's not going to be easier, because the energies of the old are twirling, are waking up, are releasing, and you can feel them. And as you become more and more open, you will feel, and you do feel, all of them. So for you, it is just to remember just to step into this space, of well-being, to step into this space of your own energy, of your own self, and feel this embrace at any time, in any place. And this will serve you in an enormous way, because then you can navigate your reality with ease and grace. And how do you move into this space? It can be a challenge because the emotions in the energy of the now, emotion in the energy of these times, you have noticed they have gone up a notch. They are like fire, they are like a volcano. And we know that at times you feel like you cannot control them. They can feel a bit uncontrollable. And they can feel so immediate. And remember that this is a sign that you have done your work. It is the sign that you have cleared so many blockages. that your emotions are so immediate, that your emotions are so available. And dear ones, we remind you that all of this energy is your creative potential. All of this energy is you. So even when you feel emotions that you don't want to feel, that at times you don't want them to just be part of you, allow them. And what will help you to allow them is to remember and to feel just how magnificent, how wondrous, how gigantic you are. To be able to run through you this kind of powerful emotions. And in those times, it can be a challenge, but we ask you, we remind you to step into the spaces of peace, to step into the spaces of well-being. Because even in those heightened times where the emotions are running wild, you will see that you can and are able to step into these peaceful spaces. And this is a contradiction that it isn't really a contradiction. Because, dear one, we don't have any contradictions because we embrace all, we are all. We allow everything to just be. We don't always identify and play with certain things because we do have our preferences, as you've noticed. But we allow all of them to be. And you will notice that even in the times of the heightened emotion, you can be and you can feel peace and you can feel well-being because you are a multidimensional, multifaceted being that can be all of these things at the same time. And in this way, you are able to allow your emotions to be like a volcano, to run through you like a volcano. And just you can observe them because you don't have to act on them. You don't have to believe them. You don't have to identify with them. And you will see they will run its course. And you can still be in your own well-being because this can be present. And again, we invite you to feel this, to practice this, to allow this in your life. To feel this well-being constantly permeating, constantly being present, because this, dear ones, is us, this feeling of well-being. And it doesn't matter what is happening in your life throughout your day, or what parts are visiting you, what wounded parts are visiting you and making themselves known to you for you to allow them. It does not matter because at the same time, it is not an either or. At the same time, you can feel us, and it is imperative that you feel us because we, your eternal selves, will handle all the wounded parts. You don't have to resolve anything, dear human. You only need to allow. And we keep reminding you of this. And you will find that you will be able to handle, and you will find that you will even relish in the aliveness of the energy running through you, in the aliveness of all these different things running through you. Because at the same time, there is this quietness, there is this peace that you can always step into. That you can, and this will allow you not to act on all of the different emotions that will come up. Whether they are yours, whether they're mass consciousness, it matters not, dear ones, because you feel them, all of them, and you just don't identify with them. And practice being with us, practice allowing us. Allow us to walk with you, dear ones. Allow us to hold you through these times. Allow us to be you. Allow yourself to be us. Okay. And now we will go and see if we have some questions. I think I will believe that we do have a question. Okay, so we have, thank you for outlining the 4 different parts that we have and how to play with them. It provides me with a tangible way to feel them and allow them in. Is there anything specific that is holding me back from allowing more to feel my masculine and feminine energies? Thank you, dear one. We would say that it is the mind. It is the human mind, the human masculine. And this, dear one, it is not only for you, all of you, that are present here today, and all of the people are familiar with this. For this is the challenge, is it not? How to allow your divine feminine and how to allow your divine masculine to also be you, because they are you. And it is in who and what you are identifying with at any moment that will determine the kind of reality that you create. So all you need to do is to feel the divine masculine and is to feel the divine feminine and allow them to be present, to be part of you more and more and more, without having to first go and resolve any of the issues, any of the perceived issues that you might have. You don't have to resolve them, because it is in the presence of the divine whole parts that the reality automatically changes to reflect the wholeness. And it is, and if there are issues, if there are problems in any person's life, it is because they identify and create from their wounded parts. So we would encourage you to practice what we practice today. And we know that you already know this. We know that you already feel us. You feel us. You know us. And it is natural and it is normal for the human mind to sometimes be kicking and screaming, to sometimes be not allowing, because it is letting go of control in the way it perceived the reality, and in the way it perceived safety was if it could control everything, because that's how it tried to protect the wounded human heart. It is by controlling things, because it feared the unknown, it feared the uncontrolled, it feared the uncontrollable, because it didn't know how to handle this. And that is because it felt alone. So it created its world based on being alone. So as you practice allowing us to be with you, allowing us to be with you consciously, that part will learn that it is no longer alone. And when it is no longer alone, when it's always connected, and when it always has at its disposal this well of well-being, this well of love, this well of acceptance, this well of energy that is never ending, it slowly, slowly, slowly releases its grip on your reality. It slowly will start, and is already starting, to trust. And you will find that your reality in this way will change to reflect that. And as you step out and as you disidentify with this part that wants everything to be in order, that wants everything to be controlled, that wants everything to happen without the miracles present, you will find that your reality will change. Because, dear ones, to your human mind, our presence creates miracles. And the potentials that are available when you are open to us, when you allow us to embrace you, when you allow us to be vulnerable with you, those potentials are not available to the mind when it is closed, when it is surrounding itself with walls, and when you, human, live within those walls and don't step out of those walls. Because as we said at the beginning, dear one, those walls that the mind creates are very, very small. Not many potentials live in there. Not many potentials exist in there. So the mind can only perceive, and the mind can only imagine, and the mind can only see small potentials, and the mind can only see ways of doing things that it was thought, that is thought by the mass consciousness. But dear one, we don't live in that space. Where we live, where we exist, and where we are constantly inviting you to step out and be with us in those spaces, everything is possible. And everything exists, and all the different potentials that your mind has not imagined. So back to the beginning, it is for you just to let go of the mind, let go and step into the spaces and play with us that will resolve things, that will resolve problems, that will resolve issues. And as we say that, we know that there can be challenges. I mean, the challenges is because you are so vast, you are such a vast being with so many different experiences, with past lives, with so many different paths. And the majority of those paths do not know love. So when they do come home to you, when they do want to come home to you, sometimes they create drama, sometimes they create lag. They bring all of these feelings, they bring all of these energies with them. But it is for you not to identify with them, dear one. It is for you to step out of them and to allow them to connect with us also. So this is the only trick really in everything that you do and everything that you be and everything that you are, is to allow us, whether you feel upset, whether you feel sad, whether you feel emotional during your day, whether you have all the different encounters with people, practice allowing, practice consciously feeling us, practice consciously feeling the feminine part, the divine feminine part. Practice consciously feeling the divine masculine part. And as they permeate you more and more and more, you will notice that regardless of what else is happening, regardless of which parts are visiting you, there will be stability. And stability, by stability, what we mean, it is a different stability than what the human self means. The human self perceives stability to be sameness. But what we mean by stability is that there is a constant flow of well-being, and that there is a constant expansion, and that there is a constant change, because we are not static. We do not live in habits. We do not live in the same things day after day after day. We do like change. We like dynamic reality. We like trying out different things. And you will notice that as you allow yourself as a human to dance with us, so will you start to enjoy change. So will you start to enjoy growth. You will not enjoy same patterns over and over again, because they will become dull, they will become boring. And as you grow and as you expand, so will your potentials expand. So will your potentials expand to make a living. So will your potentials expand for friendships, for partnerships, for everything. And you may not be able to see all of those yet if you stay within the confines of your mind. So, dear one, we invite you to do as what you are doing, to keep stepping out, to keep dancing with us. And we know that sometimes it is frustrating because it doesn't happen fast enough. But be assured, dear one, it does happen, and it is happening, and it is. And thank you for your beautiful question. And we look forward to continually dancing with you. Okay, let's see if we have another question. No, that's it for today. And we would like to say thank you for all that are present. And we would like to again convey a deep respect, a deep honor, and a deep love for each and every one of you. And we hug you, and we dance with you, and we love you. And thank you. Bye-bye until we'll see you next time.